question. They did take a short load of fuel. When I was calling the pit stop, you mentioned that he tried to pull away a little too early. I checked with the engineers here, and they said they planned on taking a shorter load of fuel. That's why they were able to do it in just over 10 seconds.
Well, it gave him the lead and created a problem trying to catch for Jack. There was another potential problem. Look at this. This was on the lap out of the pits. DeFerrin closing on Carlos Guerrero. Now watch this.
Down to the hairpin. Watch Guerrero. Doesn't see him. Squeezes down the inside. Realizes the leaders are there. And thankfully gives them room.
We were talking about Villeneuve. And in terms of what he does and how he approaches now, pit stops, everything. Despite the fact that he said it's a routine race for him at the start of the show, that's at least what he told me. The question is, doesn't he really have to be careful?
Oh, he has to be so careful. What Gilles DeFerrin's team did here with that short fuel load has given him a huge advantage because he has track position. He can go away from the traffic. Villeneuve, we saw him very close to DeFerrin for a couple of laps. There is no way he was going to take a chance and try and charge down the inside of DeFerrin and get his nose chopped off. He has to think championship. This has been a long haul for Team Green. They have done such a superb job at bringing Jack Villeneuve along, and they hope to be champions at the end of this day.
So no contest at the front of the field here at the moment. Villeneuve being very, very careful. This is Fangio, of course, driving for Pac West, and he is the replacement for Danny Sullivan this year. And next year, though, we're going to see some very interesting changes in his driving career, because he will be a full-time IndyCar driver, we understand, with the new Dan Gurney Toyota-powered effort. We'll just ride here a moment, because with Fangio's car, you can just kind of peek over that protection on his helmet and take a look at the dash and some of the indicators.
Had a great debut at Mid-Ohio. In fact, has tested a Lola with a Judd engine in preparation for the Toyota Assault next year.
We're anticipating a stop by Jacques Villeneuve. There he is, Gary.
Unscheduled, Paul. Don't know what the problem is. I'm watching with the crew, changing all the tires. I don't know if he suspected he cut a tire or what. This is not masked either. They've got a problem trying to get the rears mounted. A championship could be in the balance. You just don't know. Now he's rolling. That was a 20-second stop.
Boy, and a lot of checking of suspension parts. You see him down there wiggling all the control arms. To be or not to be. Jacques Villeneuve needs to finish 8th or better to clinch the championship. And with that stop, he fell back into 11th place. And Al Unser Jr. is to finish 3rd or worse if he's then eliminated from the championship. Right now, he is 6th, so he moves up while young Jack falls back.
Tony Sacali, Jacques' engineer, said earlier, anything can happen. He said Villeneuve, who's running 11th right now, makes very, very few mistakes in racing situations, but they feared a mechanical problem or getting sucked into somebody else's accident. And they have had a mechanical problem. We do not know yet if it's cured, because all they did was change tires.
Wonder what the report on the radio was. Boy, can you imagine the kind of reaction that it sent through the pits when he suddenly reported he was coming in. There's Al Unser Jr., runs 6th. He's chasing Scott Pruitt. That's just ahead of him. And remember, he has to get further forward if he wants to remain alive in this championship.
I mentioned Tony Sacali earlier when he began to talk about Al Unser Jr. When he thought, could he win? Sacali said, if Al Unser Jr. qualifies for a race, he's a potential race winner. He is that good in race conditions, and when he smells a possible victory, Al Unser Jr. is so good at making moves in traffic, particularly in braking zones. But Laguna Seca doesn't lend itself to long braking zones, particularly if the tires, if you have to be careful with them.
Al Unser Jr. needs 2nd place. Better yet, first.
And he's already pulled his first move. He was one of the first to make the pit stops. Now he's going to see, will the rest of the race begin to fall in line for him.
And I'll tell you what, this is developing right here into a battle with great potential. 4th place Gugelmin, 5th place Pruitt, and then Al Unser Jr. all lined up together. Gary Gerald?
Conflicting reports. Well, now, wait a minute. Barry Green is motioning me back up here. Barry, what was the problem?
Actually, a front tire, puncture in a front tire. He thought it was something in the rear, so found the problem was back in there.
Okay, that clarifies the situation, because all the concern was at the rear. Jacques on the radio thought something had broken in the rear. They checked it. They couldn't find any problem. Now they've examined the tires. There was a puncture up front. That's why the car wasn't handling.
We got a glimpse of Barry Green a little bit earlier. He, of course, is the owner of Team Green, Australian from Perth. One of the great guys in IndyCar racing. A lot of fun to be around. Good sense of humor, like most Australians.
One of the great team managers in IndyCar racing. Has a special discipline about his team. He says he wants his driver at the truck 1 hour before the start of every official session. He wants all his mechanics in the morning at the same time to start work. And he wants his driver in the car 15 minutes before the start of every session. He said it is a discipline that he believes everybody should adhere to. And who can complain about his success ratio? Look at Christian Fittipaldi gets loose.
Well, Jacques Villeneuve on the pit out lap fell from 11th down to 13th place, lined up behind 12th Christian Fittipaldi right now. Bottom of the hill will probably tell this pass. DeFerrin still the leader. Fabi is second, followed by Tracy Gugelmin and Pruitt. As now Jacques Villeneuve must work his way up through the field if he wants to clinch that championship.
Look. You know Goodyear tires. Everybody knows Goodyear tires. But did you know that Goodyear retailers have lowered prices? An amazing 25% on some of Goodyear's most popular passenger, light truck, and performance tires. It's true. And other sale prices start as low as $19.99. Believe it. Goodyear. We say they're the best tires in the world. And now you can save like never before. See your Goodyear retailer today, because this sale ends soon.
In a sport where nerves are made of steel, it's only natural. The tools are made by Craftsman. 1,600 Craftsman hand tools, made in America, guaranteed forever. The only official tools of IndyCar, NASCAR, NHRA, and the new Super Truck series by Craftsman, only at Sears.
Now, an oil made just for your hard-working engine. 4x4 from Quaker State. Off-roading, extreme temperatures, towing and hauling. They all make your light truck or 4x4 work extra hard and could shorten its life. Why settle for a conventional car oil? Get 4x4 from Quaker State. The intelligent oil for hard-working engines.
Now, take home a legend. Get an authentic autographed Superstar lithograph. A $30 value, just $7.50. See details on cases of 4x4 at your local supplier.
Laguna Seca, look at the front wing on Teo Fabi's car. That's one of those rubber pylons. What happened was he went off course fighting with Paul Tracy going down into the hairpin, turn 2. And in doing so, he collected one of those pylons. Now, here it is. Look at him way, way off course.
And that was very scary for Teo Fabi. He has no option but to go to the pit lane to have that removed unless it comes off itself, which he hopes it will. It has not yet. So now Gugelmin surely will be under attack.
Look at here. Little Al comes climbing into this fight as well.
And he gets past Scott Pruitt, round the outside in a daring move, locks up the brakes and pulls it off.
And now starts to work on Mauricio Gugelmin, 4th place. With traffic to the outside, that's Guerrero. Little Al pokes his nose under the rear wing of Mauricio Gugelmin.
Dangerous position for Little Al, but he cannot expect any help from any competitor. This is unlike any other sport. It's every man for himself. You look after yourself, and then the results fall as they may.
Al Unser Jr. to stay alive in the championship has to finish first or second. Jacques Villeneuve, 8th or better to clinch the championship. Little Al with that pass of Scott Pruitt is in 5th place. Villeneuve remains out of the top 10. He just moved to 12th around Christian Fittipaldi, Jan Beekes.
Yes, just check with Forsyth Racing in regards to Teo Fabi. They're not going to bring him in. They said the car will be a little bit slower, but if they come in now, they'll lose track position completely. So they're going to leave him out there. Now what led to that, he was screaming on the radio, Teo Fabi was, that he was getting held up by Carlos Guerrero. And I believe that's what led to him getting off course and picking up that cone. Paul?
I wonder, though, if the officials will have something to say about that. It shouldn't be a danger. It's something that they use at the edge of the race course anyway. If it's affecting anybody, it's affecting Teo Fabi, and if he seems comfortable with it, then I guess you don't touch it.
Yes, indeed, and of course the man who took the advantage of that was Paul Tracy, who tried to make the outside move off Fabi, eventually did squeeze by on the infield section, and he currently runs second and is chasing down DeFerrin, who moves the marker up of fastest lap because at 108.1 miles an hour, he is currently the fastest car on the racetrack, equal to Teo Fabi, who did his time earlier.
And very quickly, race control confirms that they're not going to touch that car, going to leave it out. Ari Leyendijk, a spectator, Gary Gerald.
He's one of many race drivers that are thinking about 96, not 95 today. He's here. He's a candidate, a leading candidate, we believe, and he feels, for the Arciero Wells team. They'll have Toyota with them next year, and Ari says there's a couple of very significant meetings planned within the next week. He's hoping maybe even by the end of next week, he'll learn that he'll get a full-time ride in IndyCar next year with Arciero Wells.
And when Ari Leyendijk was invited down by awesome Al Arciero to go view that race shop, he said he walked in and he said, whoa, this is a very professional racing team. That was when his interest level went way up to try and get back to IndyCar racing with that particular team.
Well, Ivan Stewart probably can prove that that's one whale of a great race shop. So it's Jill DeFerrin that still leads. Paul Tracy is in second place, and then this wonderful lineup of cars. Fabi Guzman, Unser Jr., Pruitt, Michael Andretti.
This is a great fight here. If you look closely at Teo Fabi's car, look at the side pod. The front of the side pod has a new aerodynamic device that has been pioneered by Formula One. See that black billboard on the front? In fact, that was developed by Gentech, which is the aerodynamic company that Benetton use in England. This Forsyth racing team have a contract to aerodynamically develop their own Raynard chassis, and that side fence produces more downforce, and that car is under attack.
Guzman makes the move now on Teo Fabi and picks up third place. So Fabi is certainly suffering aerodynamically somewhat from that cone there.
Oh, undoubtedly, that disturbs the airflow under the car. Well, we know that's where most of the downforce is made. Underneath these cars, sucks them down. Now Al Jr. goes down the inside.
And Al Jr. has Teo Fabi. So Al Unser Jr. moving up toward the front now.
Now to follow up on what Jan Vika said earlier, now does the team decide that they're losing too much time and too much track position by staying out there, or will that rubber nose cone wear itself away and fall off Teo Fabi's car?
So Al Unser Jr. has moved up to fourth place. 2 to go if he wants to remain in the championship. But at the same time, Villeneuve now runs in 11th place. So he's steadily coming forward. He needs 8th or better.
We have mentioned track position so often. When Villeneuve was the leader, it looks nice and easy, looks fast. Now that he's moved back to 11th place, he has to make his way past Christian Fittipaldi. We saw that earlier. He's passed Robbie Gordon, but it takes a long time to size up the opposition and make the move only when you're confident. And when you have a championship to think about, you better be very confident before you make the move.
Here's Jill DeFerrin. He's first place. He's had the fastest lap of the day at 108.1, and we look back now for second place. It's 11 seconds back, and there he is, Paul Tracy in second. Now we look for Mauricio Guzman to come over the top of the hill. And there's third place for you. And fourth place, Al Unser Jr. comes down the hill, followed by Scott Pruitt. So that's the top of the order as the fight continues here. And don't forget, you want to see all the race highlights from the week that you would really care about? RPM Tonight with Kenny Maynes. Don't miss it right here on ESPN2.
Speed Gear presents its latest catalog of officially licensed racing merchandise. Choose from the top names in Formula One and IndyCar: Benetton, Williams-Renault, Newman Haas, and Rahal Hogan. Drivers including Senna, Schumacher, and Hill, plus Andretti, Tracy, and Gordon. Speed Gear has everything from T-shirts, hats, and jackets.